TOP start their ride all the way to the top after they take down JD in an upset for match 1 of the first day of week 6 here in the LPL. Now we're about to go into the second match, which is going to be BLG taking on EDG. These used to be two sister teams, Clement. BLG used to be known as Ironman until the BLG squad acquired that position in the LPL. But still a lot of rivalry, a lot of history between these two squads.
Yeah, they used to practice in the same complex, on the same road. They were known as the Lingsu Road Brotherhood right there. But unfortunately, in this setup, the big brother has been taking advantage of the smaller brother for quite a while. In the spring split, EDG and BLG played in the same conference. They won both times quite handedly, ran them off the map because of the stronger early game. Now BLG, I feel like they find themselves in a very similar position. They really do have to change if they're going to stand up to EDG.
Only thing that's really different at the moment is that now they're in separate conferences. So unless they meet during playoffs, if BLG can actually make it into a playoff position, this would be the only time we see the former sister teams play against each other. BLG have had a rather unfortunate series of events since Spring Split, because during Spring Split, they were up and down, they were quite shaky. They brought in Chieftain and Mole, looked a bit better. Frostgrim was talking about how they could potentially try and run the gauntlet during playoffs. It didn't happen for them. And things started to look better when it came to summer. They were finalists at the Master Cup, falling to RNG. They started the split strong. Even in the games that they lost, they still looked good when they lost those matches. But slowly, that could not be used as an excuse anymore. They started to crash and burn and have only picked up 2 victories so far in the summer split.
The problem with BLG has been the meta, and the biggest thing is that they just don't have the champion pools to actually compete. If you look at Amazing J, 0 wins on Conqueror Champions. If you look at Chieftain, he's still first picking things like Skarner in this meta. Very slow champions that don't influence the early game. And if you look at the bot lane, Jinzhao can't really play a mage. He's not really known for it and hasn't had very good showings on it so far. So BLG, they really are a bit of a dinosaur team. They're a thing of the past. So the question is, can they really incorporate new elements into this team? Can they really stand up to what all the challenges are in 8.13?
Whereas for the side of EDG, things have been looking a lot better for them. After their finals loss to RNG during the spring split, we saw Haro being incorporated into the roster a little bit more, especially during summer. And it seems like he's starting to adapt to this team a bit better and actually looks good on a lot of the new meta picks that have come out in the jungle for EDG.
I'm just going to come out and say it. I think he's the best Kindred player we have so far in the LPL. 7.1 KDA, extremely high and 100% win rate. What I really like about it is the way that it buffs up EDG's team fight. They've never been known for a late game 5v5 team, but with this Kindred pick and with the hyper carry potential from him, they can play those team fights incredibly well. And as we can see in the future footage, what they do is they split the team fight into 2 sides. They use a Lamb's Respite to keep Kindred alive on one side, and then they kill and finish off the other side. A very clever way to do it, and of course, a very strong early ganking champion as well.
Haro seems to play this champion incredibly well. Like you said, splitting apart these team fights, having good early game ganks. 100% win rate so far whenever he's picked up the champion. EDG have not only relying on their jungle though. Yes, Haro is looking good, but he is flanked with a lot of support staff that make him look even better.
Yeah, definitely about Scout and Ray. I think those two have had the best individual performances that we've seen in 2018. Ray has finally found himself some footing on those carry champions. He's been playing the Kennen quite consistently, 4 games already. And, you know, with Haro showcasing this type of mechanics, EDG are now a stacked team full of talent. Well, people have been harping on them as being very inconsistent. They've been saying, like, Scout is the best player on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but probably not the greatest on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And Ray, pretty much the same thing, but from what I've seen, they've been playing so clean. Their game against Suning Gaming, they won in 22 minutes. One of the fastest games we have in LPL history.
I mean, iBoy as well as Mako are a stock standard staple bottom lane. Yes, they make the occasional mistakes, but you can rely on them. Ray has been shaping up as a great top laner. He can play tanks, he can play carries whenever the team needs to. He's very solid up there. Haro has become a star for the team. It's only really the shakiness of Scout that's come to question. He has incredible highs, but also very low lows. That being said, the consistency for EDG has looked a lot better during Summer Split. That's one thing they need to start improving on as they get closer to the playoffs. They're going to be up against BLG today, and their lineup is Ray, Haro, Scout, iBoy, as well as Mako.
Unfortunately, even though today is Clear Love's birthday, he will not be starting, and Haro, his apprentice, will be stepping in like usual.
Haro just had his birthday a couple of days ago, and they're up against Amazing J, Chieftain, Mole, Jinzhao, as well as Road.
still running the same lineup. Of course, they had Athena and SKS in the back line. Haven't really shown up that common, but the big magnifying glass, of course, is still going to be on Mole and Chieftain. They used to be a dominant mid-jungle duo. They ran the early game. They were the top GD early game at 15 early game duo in the previous split, but this split the champion pools have just really fallen out of flavor. We haven't seen the bruisers really come out from Mole either, so a lot of things have been going very wrong for this composition.
Well, for the side of EDG, we say they're the well-oiled machine. If you can give them a setup, you can give them the bits and pieces, the steps to take to win a fight, or the steps to take a win a game, and they take them, they'll win every match they ever play. What's the identity for BLG? Because they used to be known as the Miracle Team, they used to be the late game gods. What are they now with all the changes that are being made, not only to the roster, but also the meta?
Well, I think they're still the late game teamfight team. If it goes past 30 minutes and they have an 80 carry on Jinzhao, something like the Xayah Rakan, they can probably match EDG in those scenarios. But if it's decided in the early game, I would say this is a very one-sided affair for EDG.
And it could very well be decided in the early game, but we'll have to find out. We're getting into the first match of this best 3 series, but before we do, let's hear from Mako.
BLG 的话，他们最近状态也不是特别好吧，然后他们前面也是，连败了几场嘛，然后就是临时路一直都是我们做主的，所以说我觉得这次肯定也是我们会更强一点。然后就之前德杯也输给过他们嘛，这次还得复仇。
We are the big boss. I mean, of course, they used to live pretty much on the same road in the same area, along with Snake Sports as well at the same time. But it's always nice to see these two teams go head-to-head, because, of course, it is that old rivalry going back years and years.
And that's the thing. It may be years ago where that rivalry existed, but it will still persist. So they were the brothers of Lingxi Road, but not to be seen anymore. They're in different places most of the time now, and with all these teams going around China, all of these different cities and stadiums, they very rarely even get a chance to see one another. Only meeting once this split. This is that first and only game they'll play against each other unless the playoff stars align. EDG coming in heavy favorites.
I mean, as Mako was saying right there as well, I mean, these teams are essentially inverted. Edward Gaming have, you know, a pretty good split as they always do, but BLG 2 and 6 right now, honestly, on a pretty big loss streak. So, again, this is them playing against EDG. Usually they do play up to the occasion. You have to ignore everything that's gone on in the league up to this point. It's all about this match and this best of 3. As we get onto the Rift once again, 2 games in Shanghai tonight, and you can see that the audience has definitely filled out for this one. EDG is going to be Xayah, LeBlanc, and Sejuani banned out for them, and BLG will be taking away the Talia, Zoe, and Aatrox.
Talia banned away, Nocturne not removed, but Kindred is always seen into it now. So far so good for EDG as the draft goes. Under the analyst desk, we're talking very highly of Haro's Kindred, and that very much has merit. He was outstanding on the pick when we have seen it from him, undefeated individually, and EDG know how to play around that champion.
Yes, sir, and also BLG do like to hit hard in the early game, especially Chieftain. Look for engage picks as well. Kindred going to mitigate a lot of that if BLG are looking to aggress. Now, definitely a bit of a throwback pick right here for Chieftain when he made a splash onto the scene back in, bloody hell, 60% win rate on Skarner in the LPL.
Back in bloody hell.
Hello. Back in the spring split when he made a splash, it was on Skarner, it was on these early game control junglers, but Skarner's not had a good time in the LPL this split.
There are a couple of things here that we do need to talk about. It's not just Skarner having a rough experience, it's the Sejuani banned away from him. Chieftain he's not keeping up. Let's put it that way. He's not keeping up with the rest of the horses in the race. He is lagging behind, and he has only got Skarner and Sejuani really to speak towards. Mole has shown proficiency on the Talon, but you always remember Zoe when you remember Mole, something that he stood out on when he first joined the league, and they banned that away from Scout as he commands so much respect on that pick. So they'll get themselves a Talon. They'll deny that from Scout as well, who popped off on that.
I mean, Mole, at the same time, it's always about the jungle and mid lane duo, and also how Mole interacts with his enemy laner. Now, he's facing down the barrel of Scout with his sniper rifle. And, yeah, Talon will go a long ways to try and upset. I mean, we saw a fantastic Talon performance come out earlier today, actually, from Korn. So we'll see if we can find a little bit of that from Mole in this game. Tam Kench has been picked up by EDG, setting up for the bottom lane right here. And we've locked in a Rumble.
Yeah, now Rumble can go into a couple of lanes. We've seen Team WE played in the mid lane into Smite users, so definitely possible that it could be seen there by Scout. And of course, otherwise it does go towards the top side of the map. Now, there was a hover of the Kaiser, so You'll never really know until it is locked in, but the possibility of a funnel-style composition is there for EDG. On the opposite side, BLG, they'll lock in their Swain, they'll set themselves up with some strong laning phases, and maybe try and counteract that potential funnel.
Like the Swain coming in here as well, lots of good partnerships. We saw the Swain and the Pyke in our first series of the day as well. That was also a nice one, ran 2 games in a row. Morgana will also be the lock away by BLG, put that one in prison.
Morgana can be banned. Now, BLG, whilst the color is blue, they're on the red side, so they'll get the first pick in this next pick phase. Rakan is the champion that comes to mind for me. Road, in their last set, BLG, they went 1-2 against Snake. They only won a single map, but when they won, he was on the Rakan. When they lost, he was on the Tahm Kench. So you can tell, as a style hit for BLG, what the difference is there between those champions and what may be preferential here for Road. And the answer is some form of pick or engage.
That's true. Frusker and I, when we were casting BLG, we called it the driving test, which is you look at Road's scoreline, and if he's positive, then generally BLG are also doing positive in the game. If he's behind, then, you know, vice versa.
Absolutely. he's one of those people. I have nicknamed him the Wanderer last split because he tends to go on magical journeys. He is a bard enthusiast, one after my own heart, including the awkward dying timings.
That's true.
Just to get the chime.
That is Road down to a T. Also taking away the Ezreal down there into the bottom lane. Now, it's not Uzi on this one, but it is iBoy, and a very proficient AD carry in the bottom side. Many who say, we'll take that second spot in the LPL. Meanwhile, will be a Gragas ban out here by EDG towards BLG, and waiting on their final one now as well.
And I wonder if the cannon or something of the likes will be taken away from Amazing J. Darius is another one of his big picks as well for the top lane, but they're not going to target those at all. Now, that is curious. If you're getting rid of the Gragas, there's a chance you were looking for something like a Mundo. You know, Mundo does always scale up fine, but Gragas controls the lane, doesn't lose the lane, and can be very useful for the rest of the team. We'll have to see where they go now towards that top lane matchup, and if it is going to be the Rumble that actually does go up there, because right now, I'd expect it Scout.
And I would like them to lock this in. The dynamic duo right now, Swain and Pyke, fantastic lane, really obnoxious to play against. Got that CC chain coming in there as well, and over to EDG. How do you want to deal with it?
I think that's one of the few duo lanes that has a cool name when you put them together, you know, like celebrity couple name, because they're called the Pain Lane.
The Pain Lane, I like it, yeah.
It just works, whereas Swike, not as cool. But we look towards the other side here, and where they're going, they'll reveal their draft in just a second.
I'm going to call it that. EDG, it'll be a Lucian lock-in, so yeah, that Tahm Kench pick, of course, was going to protect something big for iBoy. You expect him to pick up a maid carry on the bottom side. Was it going to be Lucian? Was it going to be Kai'Sa? We don't know, but it was Lucian in the end. Hey, this could be interesting if they lock the cannon in, but Rumble also in there, so as you said, into Smite lanes, Rumble could work in the mid lane and then throw a potential cannon into the top side. Ray was the first AP cannon I saw in the LPL actually bring this one out, so would make a lot of sense.
Does remove a lot of engage here. Cannon is what adds the engage for their team composition. Rumble can just control areas, so when you look at EDG's composition, that cannon ideally being AP to provide team fighting strength would be the thing that you're looking at here. Lucian, of course, locked in a lot of physical damage now present for them in those team fights. Once you get to the 3-item stage and you're just dashing around everywhere, smacking people up with the Kindred to protect you. So EDG, there's not a lot of pure tank in that composition, but they've got a lot of team fight capabilities. They just have to execute on them perfectly.
I mean, that's it really. It's a big old execution composition. You need Tahm Kench to save someone. You need to make sure the respite, mind you, is in the right place. And that was a final pickup. Hey, AJ found himself a gangplank. No tank today, Rusty.
Yeah, Amazing J, one of the few carry champions that he does play in that top lane. Mostly a tank player. Of course, Mundo is his most played champion next to Poppy and Ornn, which come in second. So seeing the gangplank from him is a unique one. The second time this split that we will see a carry from Amazing J. Very rare is that opportunity going to present itself. Now, whilst the drafts are locked in, we're going to wait a second for EDG, see if they want to swap at the last second.
5 seconds.
Otherwise, we're looking at a cannon mid lane. There we go. You can't trick me. We were waiting.
We all knew it.
But they waited till the last second.
They did indeed, yeah. You got until 20 seconds on the timer and champion select to swap up your champions. What they chose to do right there. You were fooling no one.
Sneaky devils.
But yeah, again, makes sense. Cannon top side will be able to look for the teleport and the flanks, coming team fights and skirmishes, and of course the Rumble into Smite matchups in mid lane is of course what Scout will be looking for.
We'll have to see when we load onto the Rift if he chose to go for the Smite. Of course, summoner spells can change later into the clock. If he goes towards that Smite, that's what CA run. ran when he was playing into the Talon as Rumble. Of course, you can start the Wraiths yourself, you can start the Raptor camp and try and keep tempo in that middle lane. Rush level 6, just get the experience advantage, and you are super relevant in team fights very early into the piece. Whereas the Talon wants to clear the waves, wants to roam away. I mean, Rumble can keep you pretty busy and has very good clear and doesn't have mana costs.
Exactly. I mean, early on, his level 1 damage out from Flame Spits are absolutely huge. Remember, quite a few patches ago now, it actually got buffed.
The base damage,
Yeah. And these things kind of go unnoticed for a little bit until they're like, wait a minute, we can apply this to this new strategy, Smite in the mid lane. And all of a sudden it comes back. So, could be the possibility right here. Back on the other side, though, we've got a Pyke and the Swain, the Pain lane, as you called it. Into the jungle as well, got that Skarner coming in for Chieftain. Something that he's feeling very comfortable on, but again, it feels like we're going for comfort here if you're BLG, or at least the mid side of the map.
Now you are looking at a Kindred into a Talon as well, so that is a very hard thing to assassinate someone if you're getting into the backline, and Kindred's there to protect them. And when you look at EDG, their backline is very frontline heavy, as they will be running towards you and kiting towards you. You know, the relentless pursuits going forward. So flanks aren't always that simple. But what they do have here, BLG, is Pyke and Skarner to pull you off that Lamb's Respite and bring you down.
Yeah, they're always around this time around, and I like it. I like it a lot. As we come in for our second series today and tonight here in the LPL, as I hand it over to Shanghai.
I will say that was a lot of BLG fans this time around. You guys stop. Hey, calm down. I'm trying to talk. EDG, of course, still well and truly out in force. Shanghai is the big arena for them. They've got a lot of fans, a lot of following. And you saw the fan signs before. The entire front row is one coordinated sign, a la NFL style.
I like it a lot. Here in the LPL, many of the fan clubs get together, you organize what they're going to do on the day, and make things like that happen. Absolutely love it here. It's been many a person's birthday. Haro, both junglers as well. Zoom earlier today, unfortunately wasn't rewarded with a win, unfortunately. Gonna take a look at the keystones. We have Scout running Smite, there you go. And he's also picked up the Comet into Resolve second in the mid lane.
Yeah, so both mid laners will be starting at the Raptor camp and let the games begin. If you guys remember back to 2011, when junglers did not know what a Raptor camp was. Nice little early hook there.
No, it's a Wraith camp.
Yeah, both back when it was called the Wraith camp. Most mid laners would take that and your wolves. So every mid laner would hard farm. 220 odd CS at 20 minutes was the name of the game. Scale up, get 3 items. The adaptations this time around as the meta shifts is that early lead that you get, the experience very important, the gold for items very important. But more importantly than anything else is that there's no wave to take. You're very farmed and you can leave to go elsewhere on the map. That's what the Talon's after, is Rumble has got a plethora of options himself, whether that is just kill the Talon, keep Talon busy, or go in room with him.
Does indeed. One day, someone will run something different, a result that isn't bone plating and Chrysalis, but it's not that day. Today, we're going to run the same thing.
Supports do, if they have increased healing.
I was only talking from a top laner's perspective, but you're right.
Well, as a support lane.
That's bad.
Here we are.
Haro into the enemy jungle, and be poking away at this red buff. Here comes Chieftain. Oi, get off my camp.
Chieftain with a level advantage as well, so if they have a smite off, which they would most likely be having, both smites available, Chieftain should be the winner. Now you can see the rotations from Haro. He's going to respect his opponents, and he is going to play towards mid side as these two are going at it.
Yeah, can you calm down, please? Mole's going to take a lot of damage from this one. All the cooldowns coming back up for Scout. He was waiting down until he was half on the heat right there. So, yeah, I'm going to send Mole packing back to base, even through the minion wave. Haro, bottom side, persistent when he tries to steal this one away. It will come down to the smites right here.
Chieftain
Both
missing a lot of
have them.
health.
Moving towards this one. Smite away. Haro finds it. Chieftain!
Oh, hey, Ray.
Walking back towards it. Ray moving towards the top side. Looking for the stun. Didn't have that one charged up, but Chieftain sent back to base.
Was about to have the auto attack. That's a big hook there on Mako as well. Lots of action across the board, but EDG, they are the ones that hit the smite. They are the ones that push Chieftain out of the jungle. No assistance from Mole available. Assistance perhaps there from Scout, so there's a lot of respect paid by BLG, and rightly so. That's what laning phase can do to you. That's what early pressure can do to you as a jungler. But ultimately, Haro did still have to win a smite battle, and he did, with a level disadvantage.
He definitely did do that. I believe he timed it with the extra damage he got out from his E right there, but yeah, well played. And again, this early game, as we're expecting, is Molt looking for this trade. He's in the minion wave, and Scout is yet still winning this one using that scrap shield. So constantly controlling this mid lane, has a wave coming in, so big advantage over Mole in terms of CS. Now Mole and Chieftain, that's what I like to see. You know, this is the classic combo. You send the duo, the jungle and the mid lane, into the enemy jungle.
And here's the lesser appreciated aspect of starting with a jungle item as a Talon, or as a mid laner in general, right? You run out of mana. A lot of the time as Talon, when you have to throw out Rake constantly, you go to the jungle, you get increased mana regeneration now, so you can go there. And let's say you lose a trade against the Rumble. Just go over to the Raptors, smite it, get some health back. So you just go to the jungle, you come back full health and full mana, feeling quite good about yourself. That is the big bonus that jungling or having smite in mid lane can actually provide for you above all else, even before you consider efficiency of the items and spike timings.
However, Scout not to be dissuaded by this, even though Mole got himself 2 Raptor camps, or at least double Raptor smites, Scout is still somehow just taking him down to half every single time he finds a trade. It seems like it's always off the back of a harpoon. And Scout is just really controlling this mid wave, so really well played on this Rumble right here.
You see the CS difference between them even after both of those camps being taken as well. So whilst Mole gets a little bit of extra gold from the big Raptor compared to minions in the wave, Scout still has such a sizable CS advantage that it's beginning to add up. As again, bottom.
Oh, never move landing right there. Yeah, I have to find the gobble from Mako. That's a nice thing. iBoy can play a little bit more aggressive than usual because he has this one alongside him. But I mean, a lot of action in the early game. No bloodshed just yet, but you know, sparks will fly when you have these two teams playing against each other.
And I really like Swain into Tahm Kench and Lucian. I know I shouldn't. Most people would like to be the Tahm Lucian in that matchup. Scout currently looking for a potential dive in that bottom lane, having the ult available. This will be interesting. I'll hold my thought for a second. He's going to recall. Okay, so the reason that I like Swain into Lucian Tahm Kench is because Lucian is short-ranged. And if you actually throw out the Never Move, the Claw, it'll often be a lot longer than his auto-attack range will be. And if you're a Tahm Kench and you're looking to save that Lucian who will inevitably get locked down and pulled forwards, you're going to be in range of the hook in the first place. It'll be you getting CC'd and pulled in. So it's a very delicate and difficult thing to play if you are the Tahm Kench in this 2v2. It means you have to be sideways in the lane, but that opens you up to just getting hooked by a pike anyway.
It's true, but iBoy, massive punish right there, once again onto Road. We'll get a bit of HP back though from the Grey health, but this bottom lane is firmly in control of iBoy and Mako, that being said. And also picked up the Vamp Step as well very early on into this laning phase for a bit of sustain. Scout, first time I've even seen him remotely lose a trade, but I don't believe he's gone back to base yet really. Maybe once early, but he should have a lot of gold in his back pocket.
He's due for a shop. I'm surprised he didn't throw down the Band-Aid there. Maybe use the ultimate, clear the wave. It's a cannon wave at that as well, so just chooses to go back, really prioritizing that item spike, and it's Ninja Tabi to be seen from him also. Mole might find Haro, taking his Raptors.
Yeah, waiting for these to reset. Rake comes through. Scout on his way to the mid lane once again. Mole finds that nice bit of timing.
Oh, got the cannon.
Yeah, he did, off that harpoon. Perfect timing.
That's what the boots give you. That extra move speed to the lane. He's a madman, but he's a smart
calculated.
one. Not one to lose lane, Scout.
No, not at all. Nice combo right there from Jin Zhao, finds him on the claw. But again, this range matchup pretty difficult to deal with. It's an advantage in the bottom lane, the mid lane, and the top lane, and the jungle for EDG in terms of CS. And towards the top lane, haven't really spoken about it to be honest, because a lot of the action has happened around jungle mid and the bottom lane.
And speaking of Ninja Tabis, that's exactly where Ray's going as well. So just hard farming their way through that top lane, trying to survive it. Maybe the one item spike is when you'll start to see Ray, and based off the fact that he has Airy, you have to assume that it will be the AP cannon. Of course, there's rare cases where Airy can go AD, but it's not press the attack, so more likely AP than not.
Yeah, well played by Mole right there. Realizes that Scout's very close to the overload, the overheat, which means that he'll only be able to auto-attack and be close to the tower. Well, that ain't going to happen, is it? Well, he's going to jump over the wall, and Mole taking a lot of damage, has to shadow us up, but there's a red carpet. Doesn't want to really take this one.
Oh,
Scout's thinking about flashing, yeah. He looked at it and was like, this is juicy.
Too many walls nearby, man. Road also has roamed up here. Ray available. Another smite battle potentially happening.
Road comes up, yeah, absolutely. Follows through. Nice smite there from Hara, but he's going to be dragged into the enemy team. Will he get the Lancer spike down? Yes, he will. Mako's here as well. Ray with the retreat. He's on the backside, covering shurikens. And EDG, they save Private Haro.
They do, yeah, and a quick rotation there from Mako on the bottom side, able to get in there, and just in time, the Lamb's Respite did come down from Haro. Nothing crazy happening so far, still 0-0 in kills, but action being seen across the board.
Big from my boy clears out the minion wave, gets the last little bit there against Jin Zhao. And he's just having a bad time in the bottom lane. He's got himself a Catalyst, which is nice for the Swain. Gives him lots of sustain into a lane like this. Of course, you want to try and get that one as fast as possible. Ray responding with the ultimate right here, clears out the minion wave. Just gets them within the Maelstrom, but that means that no ultimate when Road and Chieftain on the way up, looking for the Spectral Undertow. Flash comes out, what a play from Road! Secures that first blood.
Clean coming out of the pike, and BLG, if Road is ever unlocked, that's what we said in Champ Select as well. Give him the engaged champ, give him the potential pick, and he'll find it, and he will make it work. Pyke is the perfect champion for Road. Gets that early kill onto Chieftain, sets him up with the flash. So nice little stuff there from the side of BLG. Amazing Jace starts it, but they were already on the way.
Say what you will about Road, but he is definitely a playmaker. That being said, in the bottom side, tower about to fall. Jin Zhao pops the ultimate, looks to ascend on iBoy. Goes into perfect timing, looking for the pop, not going to happen. Here comes Road, looking for the Visions of Empire as Mako still gets chased down, goes into the Greyhound, but a bit more time for Harrow in his way into the bottom side. Jin Zhao pots the ultimate. That's going to be a route down onto iBoy, finds the claw. Mako still low, follow through from Chieftain, looking for that ultimate, looking for the constant damage, but there's the kill. Chieftain lands it, Harrow backing away, no respite on him. Harrow and comes still kiting away, but a massive ultimate coming in from Scout, looking for the turnaround. iBoy tags him, looking to chase down once again, finds the ultimate and finds the tap once again. Mo into the bottom lane, looks fantastic, gets it onto iBoy. Scout turns one around once again, lands the harpoon, looking for more walls to escape through, follows one through, but it's going to be another harpoon saved in the back pocket. Pocket rocket, and that's going to be a kill over to Scout.
1 minute ago it was 0-0 in kills, and suddenly it's 4 apiece. EDG and BLG are just going at it now. Rumble comes into the bottom lane and hits a sick equalizer, and is the last member standing in that bottom lane skirmish. But through all of this, the outer turret fell down for EDG. They get the extra gold, and they get the extra kill. Everything going right for them, with a lot of stopwatches used in this fight. So bear with us, because this will be a long replay. Let's stopwatch number 1. Road will also use one at some stage. Mako, of course, from this position will use one after the stun connects to buy time for Harrow, who comes into the fray and wants to fight. Also flashes away from the death from below there. So good for Mako. Chieftain flashing forwards. Road's turn to use a stopwatch, and Harrow barely gets away here. Of course, the equalizer from Scout gives him that extra health back after they secure the kill. As we're back mid.
Yep. We equalize the heck out of them, but we've got another fight opening up. That's going to be Chieftain falling first. He gets blown up on the spot by Scout. And the rest of the team in tandem. Mid lane still being pushed into that last minion will eventually dissipate. We've got another wave coming in, and it's 2-man defense against 4. I feel like
it's gone.
As the wave crashes, this is going to be the tower falling. Yeah, indeed, it will go over to iBoy right there. And EDG really picking up the pace now in this early game. Almost a 3,000 gold advantage. iBoy, there's an initiation by Road. Bit of a flirtation right there. It's not going to be a full commit, but EDG turning themselves onto the Dragon.
And as the dust settled after that trade in the bottom lane, EDG come out even further ahead, going towards the middle lane, setting themselves up for the siege. Now, Harrow is going to have to be very scared here. Hooking back over would be wonderful.
Equalizer, equalizing the play, jump over the wall, Talon with the secure with the smite, but it's Road going down, behind in back lines. Ray instantly pops the ultimate. Does he have a way out of this one? Because he's completely by himself. Well, he's got Mako coming in for the play, doesn't find the save on that one, but his iBoy calls the heck out of 2 targets. Double kill coming in for EDG.
And EDG still follow up with the kills. The flash by Ray in the last second towards Harrow, who may have been able to get the Lamb's respite down, but Harrow had different things in his sights. He was not looking at Ray. They were staring down the enemies, and they do get the kills, so still trading up. That was a dangerous teleport to complete from Ray. I'm shocked that he actually did. Works out in the end.
It does, yeah. Definitely a bit of a kamikaze play, but it still worked out in the end.
And
right
no
now,
stopwatch from him.
I know there isn't. He's a madman. But it still makes it work. We're now 13 kills for 13 minutes, and I know just me 3 minutes ago, there were 0 kills.
Mole does get the dragon hit, so that is the saving grace for BLG, but he has to use the ultimate in the process, and Ray does get a lot of damage done here through this, and Mako comes in. Watch Ray's flash. Or it might have been just out of range, hard to say. But Scout and iBoy with all the AoE running forwards, all of the damage from mid-range, they'll secure that fight.
Yeah, close quarters combat, definitely where EDG is going to thrive right there. Now massive advantage over to them. As you said, the only thing that BLG really have going for them at this point is the Mountain Dragon that managed to pick up. Double smites on this from Chieftain and Mole, double chance to pick it up. but I'm looking at where all the gold went, and I'm staring down the mid lane at Scout, 4-0 and 3. This guy's absolutely huge right now.
Yes, that's definitely a big mid lane. Now while we're looking at all of the items from EDG, because I was just looking at BLG, I was like, yeah, Talon could still one-hit Lush. Oh, he has Ninja Tabi Doran Shield. I'm not sure he can. And then everyone has Ninja Tabis, so I'm not sure he can at all. Kindred, of course, having the Lamb's Respite, not having boots completed yet.
Yeah, but Tabby party.
Also has a QSS. So Skarner, one less target to engage on now. And if Kindred is the only person with a QSS, that's still not that bad from EDG, because he can be the walking savior for the rest of the team.
It's true. Maybe Town Kent gets one later into the game. You get the 2-for-1 special. You know, gobble someone up, and then you also QSS. Also very nice for him.
Big trust fall, though.
That's true, yeah. At the same time, Haro... hey, if you're going to trust anyone in the league, it's like Ming and Mako.
I trust Mako.
100%.
I would absolutely trust Mako. I know that iBoy will, so there's a chance he doesn't build a QSS, and Mako is the one who builds it. Of course, you can gobble someone up out of the Skarner ultimate. I know we haven't seen Skarner for a little while, but don't forget that redeeming feature of TK.
Big part of his kit, of course.
The one I don't trust is Haro.
That is
Will
true.
he get a Lamb's Respite down for me when he is the one with the QSS?
I will say that Haro is definitely new colours being shown in the split. He's played very well recently, but I will say more when he has the priority in his hands. Like his Talia performance has been great in the jungle. Kindred the same.
Very good at carrying.
Yes.
So far, definitely, Haro. Since he's come back and Clearlove has disappeared, Haro has stepped up to the plate. And the split-to-split improvement from him is definitely noticeable.
Yeah. Big deal. Mako just playing body blocker right here. Stopping Road from being an annoyance and stopping his AD carry from recalling. He's going to go back to base and find himself the Bork plus a Caulfield Warhammer. So 2-1 and 6. iBoy also in a great situation now. Look at India side. Do we have any breakpoints for them? Well, Amazing J's got his Triforce. That's very nice. Mid lane wants probably a back at this point. I'm assuming Maul has enough for something.
Yeah, he did go towards the Tier and Mobi's first. Tiamat rather, and Mobi's first, as all Talons want to do, but that delays the big item spikes. If you're going for a Ghost Blade or a Dust Blade, it is then delayed by a significant amount. So he'll probably have the item available to purchase now, simply because he has the 2 kills and 130 CS should be enough. But based off his rotations, the bottom lane, I'd say he's close, but not quite there.
Probably going to be an item, and then waiting for the cost to complete that item, of course. Kennen on his way back to base right here, sat on the Binder, who's also got the boots as well. This guy's starting to stack up. Probably just wants the stopwatch, to be honest, for the next fight with.
Yeah, there he goes.
Hey.
There he goes.
Yep.
I'm going to say, this guy rushing the Spellbinder and not getting a stopwatch, teleporting into 4 people in the last fight. That is a unique type of Kennen, but it's alright. He catches up in the end. He does get the stopwatch.
I mean, EDG are just throwing so much at BLG in these fights, you know. There's so many things to deal with, because you have you have literally 4 down threats you need to deal with your BLG. And we're looking at, bruises, of course, to counteract that. Well, Chieftain and Jin Zhao are going to be the big ones. AJ, Mole, and Road, all squishy targets to be annihilated by what is essentially just one big maelstrom coming in from EDG.
You know what isn't often spoken about?
What's that,
is with the Smite mid laners, it's very hard for Kindred to find a mark.
That's true.
All of the Raptors are taken away from you, from the Talon, from the jungler, from your own jungler. What if a mark shows up? You're never going to get it.
We'll get a nice big charge onto top lane, and maybe an Amazing J for your troubles as well. Even Shelly comes in there with the swipe. Just going to go into that perfect time. Meanwhile, Haro, he's in very deep and places down a Lamb's Respite, but here comes the rest of the team. BLG are feeling this one. Lays down the red carpet. That's doing a lot of damage to BLG. Maybe turn this one once again. Ray cuts to the side, pops the ultimate, finds 1, finds 2, looking for the 3rd as well. Ray, massive ultimate coming in here. Then Jinzhao over the wall. He's able to do some damage, buying some time at the perfect time, but Ray is still by himself. Tries to come in with the lightning rat once again, but 4 kills over to BLG. It just wasn't enough.
And they only lose 1 BLG. They just comprehensively win that fight right now. They get the assassination, and it's EDG trying to start it off. The stopwatch from Amazing J just bought so much time that the entire cavalry was able to get there and reinforce him, and he lives through to the end.
Yeah, incredible. Still alive. Lives to tell the tale. 006 gets multiple assists. Top lane Taugo even goes down after that play, and BLG massive equalize on all of that. We get to see where it started, and it seemed like a good play from EDG.
Of course, the Herald knocking Amazing J towards him. That was the easy go button. But he's got the oranges. He's okay. iBoy has no health now on the trade. They should be disengaging as best they can, EDG. But Ray finishes the teleport. Ray looks for the opportunity. That's from below, connects even though Scout uses the stopwatch after. And this was that game-defining moment where Smeb can kill them all, but at one item, Ray can't do that.
Yeah.
He's only a one-item cannon. So he gets locked down. Stopwatch is simply an inevitable death, buying a bit more time. Maybe he gets a trade. If I'm him, I'm regretting using that stopwatch at all.
Now, the important thing that we didn't catch on camera the first time or the second time was the fact that Mole dived in and just assassinated 2 people. He dived immediately into the back line, and he was the cannon of BLG, but he was getting a lot more done with his Blaze and Shurikens than Ray was with his Maelstrom.
And something we spoke about even through the draft is that Talon wants to assassinate people, but it's very difficult to do when they're building tanky and when they've got a Tahm Kench and a Kindred to protect them. But when everything's being used offensively by EDG, it's not going to be there to protect themselves from flanks, and Mole is able to get into the sides.
This is a bit of a damper right now for EDG because they lose that fight, don't manage to take the top lane turret. That one's still standing. Yes, it's on its last legs, but the top tower fell on their side. At the same time, BLG found themselves a second dragon. Move on to the mountain. That next one's going to be an ocean. Going to be catching them all in this game.
And they're spiking pretty hard right now. Amazing J spiking at level 13. Of course, the kegs being a reduced cooldown on activation time. So he's going to be a big GP running around clearing waves very effectively now. It opens him up to potentially leaving the lane. Or just hard farming towards that second item spike that he'll be looking towards. Most likely the Sterix Gauge. Judging off what he has so far is Ray looking.
We're taking the Abyssal Voyage to the top lane, but it's interrupted. Ray by himself. Here comes Harrow. He's got the ultimate. Does he need to use it, though? In comes the Gangplank ultimate. Amazing J providing covering fire for Chieftain to escape, but now he's under attack as well. iBoy walked all the way through that one, took a bunch of damage, and now in comes the Abyssal Voyage. Finds to save onto Ray, but the tower's still shooting, and Amazing J makes it out.
This is very messy. EDG do not look like a well-oiled machine right now. They are forcing very hard. They will get the turret. So at the end of the day, they get what they're after. But BLG are just disengaging extremely well. Yep. Trading on the other side of the map. Mole will get himself a trade on the bottom side. A lot of free time to himself to think about what EDG are doing and what their next steps will be. Even damage in mid.
I don't know, feels like maybe this machine needs some hardware swapped in and out, to be honest. EDG making some plays, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but BLG making counter punches, mid lane, bot lane, left and right, always the comeback kids. Find a nice snare in the mid lane, that's going to be converted by Jin Zhao, and Mole's coming in for the fun as well. Shadow Assault, Shadow Kill, Mole finds the kill.
And there goes Scout. You'll see it sometimes, Scout will just find himself maybe not meant to step up there, but he's going to do it anyway because he's still Scout. So the kill goes over to BLG. The turret goes over to BLG, and the gold lead as such as well. Nice hook.
Oh, I mean, catch of the day. We'll just find ourselves a cannon, of course, roaming through the jungle. That'll be another one over to BLG.
Easy as you'd like. They get another kill, and they're still threatening. Baron is up and available. It's 22 minutes in the game almost now. They've got a Mountain Drake. BLG are in the driver's seat in game 1.
Fair, but it feels like EDG are just kind of offering a lot of these to them on a silver platter. I mean, that was literally a cannon just doing the drive-by, literally next to the biker gang. And he's just like, I'm sure this is fine. I'm sure they won't hook me at all.
It's definitely some sacrifice to the BLG gods here and there from EDG, but at the same time, it does mean that whilst BLG have got themselves the lead, it means this game is very close. And it means we're going to get towards the 3+ item, maybe team fights to be seen, and that's an exciting time for everyone. Watching EDG and BLG duke it out, because BLG are the team fight kings of old, and they're getting that opportunity in game 1.
That's the thing, right? I mean, you can take the players out of BLG, but you can't take the BLG out of BLG, and they will continue to be good at team fights. They'll continue always to be good at the comeback wins as well. This is just how BLG are. And again, they always play up to the occasion. They might be 2-6 on the standings, but when you're against EDG, you're going to make sure it's going to be a tight series. I would not be surprised if we find ourselves in a 3-game set.
Certainly possible. Always a plausible outcome with BLG, particularly against Edward Gaming. This seems to be the way that these two match up. Now, Mole is potentially looking for Scout. It's hard to assassinate him, but there's no zone use hourglass available, so you'll notice that Scout will always be a bit more respectful without that activatable item.
But for now, we're looking towards that next fight. Who am I supposed to be looking at, Rusty? Who are the big players in this next one?
It's hard to say who you'd be looking at for EDG. I would say the teleport flanks, if possible, from Ray, but iBoy really hasn't existed in this game. Every time he tries to fight, he's hooked. Speaking of hooks,
hook is on from Robe. He flashes away. Amazing J-Chan this one around. It's a big flank coming in from Mole on this one. Detonates iBoy. Lays down the red carpet. It's too far away. Celebrity's already walked off that one. It's a jump over the wall once again from Mouse. Follows through the knocks and diplomacy, and it's a Ray on the run once again. Finds the blast cone, wants to get over this, but again, it's more walls for Mole. chooses not to because he'd be lining himself up for a shuriken, but still, 2-for-1 special for BLG.
And another team fight victory goes over to Bilibili Gaming. Baron now on the cards for them. They're running straight over as well. That is why Mole disengages. He teleports as well, apparently.
Yep.
He's in the
he did
pit.
it all.
They're taking the Baron.
Taking parkour to the next level. And BLG, they'll take this one down. Abyssal Void, actually, EDG are beelining it over their Rain with no ultimate.
They really want to meet this. If Baron is taken, they might just lose.
It's a big deal. It's already down. Ray and Mako see this, but they continue to chase. Can they find the tongue? No, they cannot. And BLG does just all recall. Do the Ginyu Force and go back to base.
At 24 minutes in the game, Pulse, it's starting to look even better for BLG. And once again, it starts with the fight. EDG get hooked in, the fight begins, and they are choosing to go forwards. They're not just disengaging, and Mole finds the one hit, stands in melee range, gets the Q crit, auto attack resets, and Haru's too busy defending Scout, too busy defending himself. Ray cannot get in as well, no QSS for the cannon, so he's just pulled away by the Skarner. And easy as you would like, BLG are able to get themselves a team fight victory.
Fantastic stuff coming in for the team, and BLG, I mean, remember we're talking about 3k down now, they are 4k up. Massive swing for them over this game so far. 2 Dragons, Ocean's up now, they'll find that one as well. And now we're looking at EDG firmly on the back foot. You know, we've got the QSS picked up from Mako, we were talking about that one earlier, but do they actually have the ability to win against BLG? Because this is a very squishy composition. You know, this is a composition went ahead. Fantastic! You blitz them, you zerg them, fantastic. You run over them. But now when you're on the back foot, will be harder for them.
What they don't have is a stopwatch for Kennen, a QSS for Kennen, and an entry point for Kennen to actually get in. Now that they're losing, now that the Baron is on BLG's side, very hard to find the positioning to even get a flank teleport in. There's another hook.
Can you stop that road? Constantly making plays. Death from below, death from above, death everywhere. Finds the second. That's gold raining down from the skies. You can see that one. And Mole rotating in from the bottom side as well. 2 kills over to BLG. They will at least take an inhib off the back of this Baron, if not more.
They're threatening for a lot more. Mako just ate a minion. Road now going to contribute to zoning away Ray. They're going for the end.
Scout laying it down once again. Mole getting sliced out of there, but here comes Ray. That's going to be a big ultimate, but he needs to instantly back away. No way to defend himself. Minion wave flooding in. BLG, do they bite off more than they can chew? That's the question. Road pushing forwards. Can he find the bone skewer? BLG, the call has been made. Back away. That's enough for today.
That's a big gold lead, big advantage. Super Minions about to start barreling through the middle lane. They can just regroup and spend all of the money that they have earned. Even Control Ward sitting in the pockets of BLG on this recall. Fantastic stuff coming out of this side. And Road hits the hook. Predicts the dash,
wow.
And then Mako grabs that minion and says, oh my god, that is an iBoy. And he is absolutely dead after Mako cooks that one. So BLG, they get the entry rate to push.
Minion looks similar. Minions, iBoy, all the same really.
This game, I think you're absolutely correct. Yep. That Lucian has been non-existent. He is a culling bot.
He is. Unfortunate, because a lot of the gold has gone towards him as well. 240 farm. Bit of kills, a lot of assists. Even has the Essence Reaver. He's sat on the 2-item spike looking towards that the Black Cleaver now. You know, like that's when Lucian's going to be really relevant, but shut down over and over again. This time actually a little bit from Mako, but happens.
I mean, thankfully for EDG, there's still a Kindred, and you can see the itemization choices from Haru as well. We'll still be doing a lot of physical damage. So across the board of EDG, the damage is there in the composition. But it's about how do we kill a Gangplank who can eat the oranges? How do we kill a Swain who can press R and have the Zhonya's Hourglass available as well? And when BLG hit the hooks first, and you're using everything to save someone, they just keep going. They keep engaging, they're relentless. They'll find the next bit of crowd control before you can save someone again.
Alright, well, at some point I'm going to have to see iBoy start dodging those ones. It's just relentless. As you said, skill shot after skill shot. It's like playing a bullet hell game, to be honest, when you're playing against this BLG composition. Top tower goes down, bot lane will do the same. Amazing J on the constant split push. It's been 0-0-9, turning up to the team fights when he needs to, split pushing, defending. It's been the ultimate top laner. Nice combo there. Yeah. Nice dodge from Ray. Just nice mechanics on the bottom side. Haven't lost it just yet, but there's a lot flooding into the base in terms of minions, and the assault will continue. And hit being down definitely doesn't help the cause of your EDG.
There's no Ziggs, but there is still a lot of minion damage available for Edward Gaming. BLG are the ones that need to make the play, and they don't have a Baron buff, so it's not the easiest feat to secure themselves the game, but they've got the rotations, the Talon and the Gangplank. High threat duo.
For sure. Road and rotation as well. Ray threatening Haro. Thinks about that one. got the respite, would like to push forwards, but these barrels, again, a constant threat. Being able to crack this one open, that's an exposed inhib. BLG could actually move down here, need to do it all at the same time, not one by one. They've found their way into the bottom side. This is an inhib dead. Again, EDG looking for purchase. Can they find a good way into the fight? Well, for now, they'll give up the inhib, and BLG will be happy with this result.
The one thing left for EDG to secure is level 16 for Ray. Once they get that, and they've got 16 already secured on Scout, those two ultimates together, they lay down the red carpet and the celebrity just lightning rushes in and kills everyone on his way, then maybe they can win a team fight. Hard to do, but always possible moving through the rest of this game. But at 29 minutes in, it really is a bit of a pipe dream as BLG are running rampant.
Yeah, it's rough, for certain. I mean, the items are there, you even mentioned it, the damage is there from EDG, but it's just accessing it in team fights is very difficult when there's a mole sprinting at your backline. And you know he can 100 to 0 anybody.
Edge of Night as well, I believe it is.
Yep.
So he's even harder to stop when he's going forwards with that added spell shield.
It's tough for sure, and he's not even the single down threat, you know. Swain's big and beefy right now. Pike, something you got to be wary of later on to the game as well.
That's what a lot of this game's actually boiled down to as well, though, is like EDG, they want to engage, they want to go forwards, but it's so difficult to find purchase on an engage into a gangplank with Kegs, into a Talon with the Rake, into a Swain who can lock you down in slow areas as well and control zones, and into a Pike who, if you're running towards a Pike, dashes backwards, will stun you if you chase him anyway. Good composition on the re-engage and the counter-engage, and finding picks for BLG have been wildly successful.
I would say it feels like our top teams in the league are just having a bit of an off day. Started in our first set with JD Gaming, now in the second with EDG. It's not looking the same as they usually are. Something in the water perhaps, but BLG are making the best of it. Making the most of the situation. Double mini waves pushing in on supers, mid and bot lane. Top lane is the only last bastion of hope really until the Nexus.
Yeah, but the minions also, you can see there's no more supers in mid lane. That inhib about to come up as we see it on the right of your screen. So they've now got an opportunity, EDG, with Baron up in 20 seconds. No supers pushing in mid. It's only one lane they have to clear. Maybe they can find a way to the Baron, prevent BLG from getting it. But look at BLG.
I like this.
They know full well that EDG could come towards them, so why even allow that to happen?
I don't like that. Yeah, kind of messed up the combo a little bit, but it's baiting them into a false sense of security. That's what we'll call it. Rogue goes into stealth. I think the loudest thing on the planet.
Boys just used it on the Baron there. It's the last remaining vision available for EDG without having to face check a bush.
Being duoed. EDG, this is their shot. This is the way in, the way back into this game, I should say. They're all inside the pit, they're in the oven. We just need to light the fire. EDG, can you do it? Scout's walking up to the pit, looking
4K,
for the red
it's
carpet.
gone.
Yeah, it's gonna go down. It's a question what EDG do from here. Road getting launched on right now, but Scout by himself. That's not the way you want to put the flame spitter. Mako being chased back with a mole. He's into the back line looking for the assassinate. Great ultimate coming in from Ray, stalling 3. He finds 1. Meanwhile, oh, what the heck was that damage? Blows up the rest of EDG. Ray on the run, he's by himself. 2 versus 1, takes some oranges, it's okay. I've killed Kennen mid-air. Dropped him back down to earth, 5 for 1.
And BLG have done it. They've won the first game in this best of 3 series. They have absolutely shellacked EDG.
Absolutely. BLG has a little brother grown up. Well, it seems like they have today in this first game. Game 1 goes to BLG.
That's not something you ever expect to say in the LPL in summer of 2018, is that BLG have beaten EDG in a game at all. But the way that they looked in that game, it was clean. It was consistently good from them. The individual players as well showing up to the plate. Road is my MVP from that. Of course, he won't get it, but he was my MVP. Hitting all of the hooks, setting up his team constantly. The mid lane engage is the one that comes to mind, where he finds the Lucian, predicts the dash, and suddenly they find themselves in the driver's seat for the game.
The power of anime, I'll tell you. BLG coming home with this one. Whoa! Damage coming out of Amazing J. Actually managed to do a lot in that game in terms of consistent damage. Always in side lane, constantly poking, harassing. Ray doing the same in those team fights along with Scouts.
I mean, exactly. You can see the damage from EDG. It's still there. And we mentioned that the composition still has damage available for itself, but they never got kills with that damage output. They were dealing damage split. It wasn't cohesive. It wasn't a solid team effort from EDG. And they could just never find purchase on a full proper 5v5 team fight. They were bested by BLG on the day.
That was a problem. It was just, again, misexecution in game. You know, they had the advantage in the early game. It's not like EDG were just behind all of it.
Nope.
But it almost seems like that's the BLG trap card, isn't it? You put them behind and they're like, time to win. And they just come back and they win.
And it was only 2,000 this time around as well. EDG, they've been snowballing so hard lately in the LPL. They were never given the opportunity to snowball. That top lane dive, the one thing that diffused the entirety of the game, was a mistake from EDG. BLG very quick to catch that.
Yeah, that's probably the most value stop punch I think I've ever seen in the history of League of Legends coming out of Amazing J right there. That probably just saved the entire game and turned it for them. But that definitely was the pivotal point in the top lane.
Yeah, definitely was. I mean, at the end of the day, him saving the game for the top lane, and of course the rest of the team being there quickly is what I would look at for BLG and say they won that team fight from that.
So learn that lesson. Always appreciate your top laner. For now though, we're going to send it back to the Ancestors to take a look at that game 1.
No, Pulse. You play Alawi. I'm not going to appreciate your top lane. But let's get into this match, because there was no Alawi here. And for BLG, we kind of saw the exact things we were talking about before the match. They picked up Skarner very early for the jungle. We saw Amazing J go back towards his gangplank, but one big change was made in their bottom lane, which is Jinjiao did go towards a mage champion. He went toward a Swain.
Yeah, they did go for a very heavy kill lane in the bottom side. In terms of this draft, I actually didn't favor BLG that highly. I think Skarner is still not a very good pick. You give up on your first rotation in the jungle in a double scuttle meta. That's kind of disastrous. But for EDG, their composition relies on a lot of tempo, and it can never fall behind. A lot of brittle champions that can get one-shotted by the Talon. If they wanted to snowball this game, they had to do it from 0 minutes all the way to the end of the fight.
Well, they tried to. So they started off with a snowball, and we saw quite a few dives take place. We saw mid lane aggression, and especially a dive bottom lane, where it was a back and forth fight. BLG to pick up a few kills here and there, but it was an EDG victory, especially after taking down the first turret. Now, you'd expect that would be the start of a snowball that just doesn't stop for EDG. But that wasn't the case. It was a good dive, and EDG set it up very well.
Yeah, they have very strong tower forcing ability. They unlock their bottom lane early. They have the Tom Kench global. So a lot of things should have gone better, and this is the real start of EDG and how they really got themselves into this game. Good mechanical play there from Mako. Flash dodges a skill, and then has the perfect timing to dodge again. Forces a couple of flashes out of the enemy team, and just watch this. The passive from Kindred keeps Hara alive long enough for Scout to come into the team fight, and this is the advantage that EDG are sitting on. A very strong early lead, lots of kills on the right people. Of course, Mole does come in and get some out for himself, but with the first tower, with this fight, this should have been EDG's game to take.
So at this point, they're about 3,000 gold ahead. They make another dive in the mid lane, which allows them to go up to about 4,000, 5,000 gold ahead of BLG, which was the early snowball we were talking about for EDG. They were a well-oiled machine, set up for these plays, and executed a good reaction to the gank that came out in the bottom lane. For the casters we're talking about at the end of the match, a top lane turret dive, where Amazing J was able to, hold his own, defend against EDG. The rest of BLG grouped up, and this was where they started to turn the game around.
And I just feel like this is such a cocky play coming out from iBoy. You can see how much damage he actually takes simply from the cannon barrage. It forces himself away from the fight before the members from BLG even show up. And all he can do is throw out the Ardent Blaze from afar. Ray comes in, tries to save the situation, but can't even get the sneaky pirate. That's the most handsome player on the map today. Amazing J showing his worth. And after this replay, I'm going to show you the Amazing Jave. He actually did that on stage a couple days ago.
I know.
It was amazing. It was really good.
Never do that again.
I'm sorry. I didn't get my solo shot. I think that was the problem.
Oh boy. But that was the start. That was the start of BLG's comeback, and they were able to secure nice leads for themselves, and they just took fight after fight from here and executed on their team comp quite well, especially during the late game where BLG are known to be a lot better in terms of their play style.
Yeah, I think in the later team fights, what we really have to watch is EDG's failure to survive, to keep iBoy alive. They didn't get the Lamb's respite on the right person at the right time, and Tom Kench actually repeatedly missed out on the targets. Swallowed the minion in the mid-wave, didn't get iBoy in this fight either. Just watch Mole as he tries to find his way in from the backline. It starts good for EDG. It seems like they have the right target, but just watch iBoy. Nothing happens to him, gets one-shotted. The Lamb's respite doesn't save him either. And at this point, you just feel like it's too far gone for EDG. Their snowball type of composition where they have no tanks on their comp really can't withstand this type of damage threat coming out from BLG in the late game.
Second time we've seen that exact same team fight out of a Talon. Earlier today, we saw it coming out from TOP. We get the execution on Gao's Lulu. This time we see it on towards iBoy's Lucian, killing him off the back of that fight. And from then, it was just a snowball that allowed BLG to pick up the victory. That match, though, is good signs of life for BLG
Yep.
because they've had a horrible split so far. They looked strong coming out of the Master Cup. They looked good to start the LPL, but the midway through, from weeks 2 all the way to week 5, they haven't looked good. So a victory in game 1, although a comeback victory, is a good start for BLG. What do they need to do to take down EDG in this best of 3 series, though?
Well, if EDG are going to draft this way, then I actually think that the way what BLG is doing is fine. We have the better late game team fight composition. We're going to hold on to that. And EDG, at this rate, if they're playing the same way, they're probably going to make mistakes, and we can just play to punish that. So I actually sort of like the idea coming out from BLG. I think their weaknesses are still there, but I would like to look at EDG and say, hey, maybe this type of comp is a little too hard to run. We've seen the exact same thing when they went up against SKT. You know, it's the type of comp where you can be up 9K and still lose a team fight, and it's all gone. So I want to see a little bit more late game insurance coming out for them. Maybe a tank somewhere, maybe something with longer range to help them with those sieges. That would put me at ease if I'm an EDG fan.
Maybe, but we'll see that during the next champion select. However, EDG did make those mistakes you were talking about. BLG did punish them, and Amazing J picks up MVP off the back of that performance.
I knew it had to be Amazing J. It wasn't going to be the bot lane of Road. I know Road played well, but the first fight, it all started with this man. He baited iBoy to walk through a cannon barrage, took him out of the fight alone, stopwatch to avoid the Ray Maelstrom, survived it all, and then finished his target.
Second MVP of the split. He picked up one of his signature picks of Gangplank, one of the few carries he plays in the top lane. He's played it in and out of meta and has shown time and time again he's comfortable on the pick and plays well when he gets it.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to see him in that interview later on with a bit of dancing, a bit of laugh, and this as well.
A bit of dancing, a bit of laughter, and some hair flips coming out from Amazing J if they can take down EDG. They're 1 game up. Let's go into a break. We'll be back with game 2 in just a bit.
我们的目标是再次突出重围，哔哩哔哩干杯！